Hello, everyone. I just want to wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to wherever it is that you're plugging into. And thank you for joining us with Amtrak Vacations, as I have a lot of fantastic information I'm excited to share with everyone on this call. Now, we had some great first sessions earlier today, so I'm sure this one's going to be just as well. Just so everyone knows, if you have any kind of questions during any part of this presentation, please put them in the question box, and I'll be more than happy to provide an answer towards the end of the session. Now, this presentation may more or less be 40 to 45 minutes long, mainly depending on how many questions we receive. Now, we had over 1,000 travelers plugging with us on the first session, about 300 to 400 on the second session. Today, I think we have about 200 to 300 plugging in on this session. So again, it's a stacked house, and I'm very excited to help out, but I'll get to as many questions as possible towards the end. Now, my name is Baltasar Lopez, and I'm one of the business development executives here with Amtrak Vacations, and I'll be your host for today. Now, we're going to talk a lot about train travel, of course, California Zephyr, Coast Starlight, a few of the routes that you can take for your next vacation, but we're also going to talk about top destinations, scenic long distance rail journeys, what it's like on board the Amtrak system, what you actually have access to right in your backyard. I'll talk about what it looks like to route your vacation from your hometown, as well as what is Amtrak doing to make it a safe environment for your next vacation trip. So again, I would bring a piece of paper out, a pen, and just have a lot of notes taken down as we're going to go over a lot of different things. Now, first off, just be aware, we book many different rail vacations. With the brochure on the left, that's our rail vacations for US and Canada. And we also have a brochure for our sister brand, Rail Bookers, which imagine hotels, tours, activities being booked in the US and Canada. Well, same thing worldwide. Think about Alaska, Europe, or Australia, and much more areas. So again, we have a lot to offer, and if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call on the number of the screen. Now, I did see that about 40 more attendees just plugged in within this minute, so I want to welcome you. And again, if you have any questions, put them in the question box, and I'll be more than happy to answer them towards the end of the session. Now, right off the bat, I want to help out with what is our booking window, because I want you to have an idea with everything I'm going to go over today. When can you actually take these journeys? When can you take these trips? Now, for all of our vacation journeys, we can actually book trips, say, if you wanted to leave today, up to 2023, exactly 24 months in advance. Now, do you need to plan out that far? Of course not. But if you want to plan a trip this weekend, this month, within the next 6 months, we can assist you as long as the availability is there. Now, our travelers love the fact of, yes, our incredible booking window, but they also love the fact that we're rail experts. When you speak to our team members, they have the knowledge and know how to recommend certain routes depending on what your preference is, what you're looking for. They'll provide recommendations. They'll mention about our maximum flexibility where we can adjust reservations, change them if need be. Typically, what's complicated for someone else, it's very simple for our procedures. We'll talk about different rail vacations, different journeys, as we do offer luxury, multi-country journeys, extending your cruises. So if you're taking a river or ocean cruise, we could arrange the pre and post activities, as well as creating a custom itinerary where if you say that there's nothing on our website or anything that we offer as a package, let us know where you want to go and we'll build it from scratch completely. And then, of course, no rail trip is too complicated for us. It can be as detailed as possible and we can make it happen. As long as the train goes there, we go there. Now, all of our rail vacations I'm going to go over today, if you want to add destinations, add extra nights, maybe make it a round trip journey from your hometown, no problem at all. I'll talk about what it looks like to upgrade your class on board the train, as well as sightseeing tours and even private tours, which we can also add into the reservation as well. Now, main thing, why even book now? Because I understand today is kind of a unique time that we're all in. I know that we're all pretty much banging on our doors on how we need to get out of our house, but there's a huge reason why you would want to book, say, today, because we offer a maximum flexibility offer, and it's for all of our travelers who actually book reservations by June 30th. I apologize that this says 31st. I understand that it is the 30th that June has. So as long as you book by June, there's actually no change or cancellation fees that would be added if you needed to change dates, change your duration of your trip, or even the destination itself. So again, let that sink in a little bit. It doesn't mean that you have to travel by June. It just means as long as you book before that month ends, if you had a trip in September and something happens where you need to change plans, you can do so without facing any fees, as long as we have at least 5 days before your departure notice. Now, limited time savings. This is also something that's fantastic. We have a special promotion that actually ended last week, but we had so much demand for it, so many travelers excited about the promotion that we chose to extend it for this week. Now, this is the final week that it's available, but you can save up to $400 per passenger based on the length of time you're traveling with us. If you're traveling 3 to 6 nights with us, then that's actually saving $200 off per couple. If you're traveling 7 to 9 nights with us, then that will actually be $300 savings per couple. And then if you're traveling for 10 nights or more with us, that is going to be saving you $400 off per couple. And you do not need to travel with a couple if it's just yourself. It's just that promotion in half. And then packing for the train. So when you think of these vacation trips, you can start thinking about what kind of luggage you're going to be taking. You're actually allowed 2 free carry-ons as well as 2 checked bags per passenger. So for myself, I only use 2 carry-ons. I use a backpack and duffel, but if you wanted more luggage, you can, and you don't have to worry about any kind of fees to take on your luggage. I just recommend arriving at least 45 minutes before you depart to actually check your luggage in a timely manner. And then another popular question I receive before we get into things is, what does Amtrak, what is it doing in today's times? What's different? What's changed in order to travel on these vacation trips? Well, we've enhanced cleaning protocol. So on an hourly basis, everything's cleaned down, wiped down in the stations, on board the train, as well as the showers are actually cleaned down after every use. When it comes to the roomette class, which we'll go into deeper towards the end, face coverings are required, which I think we're all pretty much used to that now, going to the grocery markets or any other areas. The only times where you can remove your mask is if you're eating a meal, say in your private sleeper or in the coach class. Limited bookings. So how can you practice safe distancing on board the train when everyone's connected on the train? Well, the way you do it is by only having half the availability for travelers. So we're only selling 50% of our capacity, so there's always going to be that space in front of you and behind you where a row is going to be completely open where there's no travelers sitting there. There's fresh air on board the train, so it's filtered out every 4 to 5 minutes. Everything's going to contact-free travel. So there's an Amtrak app where you can have your ticket ready to go, so you don't have to worry about hand-to-hand contact with other travelers. And then private rooms, where on many routes, there's many private rooms available. Pretty much all the routes we're talking about today have sleeping classes on board, where you actually do not need to be around other travelers if you choose not to. Now this map, it has a lot of names, a lot of writing, and I do not want to throw anyone off on it. But with this map, it actually shows you all the connections that Amtrak goes on. So those red lines is where the Amtrak train is operating. The green lines are just showing some of the Amtrak bus routes. We'll focus more on the train routes, as that's typically the main focus. And so these train routes, they're very simple, they're easy to go through. This is how our team members piece together reservations. So say you're coming from Miami, Florida, and you want to go to Glacier National Park, which is located in Montana. Well, all we do is connect the train from Miami, Florida, take you up to Washington, D.C., connect you to Chicago, and then you're at Glacier National Park. And it's that simple, connecting by train. Now, it doesn't have to be complex like that. Let's say you're just coming out of Chicago and you want to go to Glacier. Well, it's just one train going to Glacier National Park and you're there, and you're going to be able to stay right at your lodge, and we'll bring you back to Chicago or anywhere else you'd like. So just instead of Chicago, just input your city's name, which what I would like to do, just to make sure everyone has access to the question box as well as that we're all on the same page, feel free to put in exactly where you're plugging in from. What destination are you representing plugging in on this call? Feel free to put your answer in the question box. I'm actually plugging in from Laguna Niguel, California, over here on the West Coast. So it's nice over here. I think it's about 80 degrees and windy. But it looks like, Anna, I see you. You have Tampa, Florida. We got Fort Lauderdale. We have Boston. We have Rhode Island, Cleveland, Ohio, Seattle. We have Maryland in the house. We have Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Vancouver, which I love having our Canadian travelers with us. We have Philly, Des Moines. We have Pennsylvania, Atlanta. We have Prescott Valley, Arizona. I actually used to live out there in Tucson and Phoenix, Arizona, so it's nice, Pamela, that we're there. Lexington, Long Branch, New Jersey, Sacramento, and North Carolina. Awesome. So again, we have a stacked house. We have again over 300 right now attendees. So it would take all day to go through everything, but trust me, I will read back to this later in the day. So again, feel free to throw that in there. And yes, I did see Red Wing just pop up as well. So plug your city in and we can route your vacation directly from your nearest Amtrak station. Now, with the national parks we're going to talk about, this is going to be a fantastic thing because all of these trips I'm going to go over today is what we've seen a lot of our travelers ask for in the recent few weeks. And so I'm excited to share this with you. But with that being said, these are also very, very, I don't want to say limited, but they're very demanded. So if you know this is a trip you're looking for, give us a call so we can give you that quote so you can see what it would look like to take this vacation, say today or within this week, to take advantage of the promotion we have. So this is our Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Glacier National Park. 3 amazing national parks on one reservation. Now, I know it says Chicago. Chicago, if you noticed on the map, all the trains connect to Chicago. That's why it's easy just to reference Chicago. It does not have to be there. Just plug it into your city if you want it to be that way. Now, Chicago, we're going to go to Salt Lake City, Yellowstone, San Francisco, Yosemite, Seattle, Glacier National Park. Back to Chicago. Now, the California Zephyr. I know that that's suggested in the title that we're talking about today. These are incredible scenic trains. These trains, yes, they're scenic, but they take you to the destination that you want to arrive to. Now, this is just one of the views. It goes right through the Rocky Mountains when you go from Chicago over to your next destination to Salt Lake City. And just look at that. You have raging rivers alongside. You're going over bridges. There's different mountain terrain. And we even have a lounge car. Lounge cars are used to have your seats and face out the window so you can see all the attractions. And this is actually available to everyone on board the train. So whether you're in your coach, roomette, or bedroom, it's all there available to you. Now, Yellowstone National Park, we have 2 nights set up for you there. Beautiful lodges that we have available. There's a sightseeing tour with a lower loop tour that will cover a lot of the major sites within Yellowstone. Think of the Prismatic Lake, geysers, different waterfall sightings. And then we even included dinner at the Roof Restaurant in Salt Lake City. Now, Salt Lake City is involved because that is where you'll be arriving to, so we can then take you on a tour to Yellowstone. Now, Yosemite National Park, you catch that full day tour by going into San Francisco. We'll include a few hotel nights in San Francisco for you and a hop-on, hop-off tour of San Francisco as well. Now, you're going to hear hop-on, hop-off a few times, so I want to make sure I explain it. Hop-on, hop-off is a trolley or tour bus, like those double-decker buses you see in movies. And you can join on board. It'll take you through the major highlights of the area of the town. And you can actually get off at any one of the stops, hence hop on, hop off, do your own exploring, and you can go back to your stop and join onto the tour bus, trolley, and continue on the tour where you left off. It'll be your transportation tour guide throughout the town, and in most cases, it's maybe an hour to do the full round trip tour in the town, but you actually have it for a whole day, which is, say, 8 to 12 hours, so you have a lot of time to be able to jump off and jump back on. Now, we have Glacier Park Lodge included with a 3 hotel night stay. It includes a Big Sky Circle tour as well as a boat cruise on 2 Medicine Valley Lake, which is a hotel round trip pickup. Now, I always recommend looking into upgrade options. So at the lodge, you can actually enjoy breakfast overlooking this beautiful scenery when you're visiting Glacier Park Lodge. And there's also viewing rooms that we have available in certain cities. Now, this package, again, this is just one vacation package. We didn't even talk about the hotel night in Seattle or Salt Lake City, but we include the rail, hotel, all the tours and activities, 16 days only starting from $4,549. And this is before even throwing in our special promotion that we have. Now, maybe you like national parks, but maybe you want to see more of the Southwest. Well, we have you covered. We have our Grand National Parks of the Southwest, Bryce and Zion to the Grand Canyon. So again, Chicago going to Moab, Arches National Park, Canyonlands National Park, Capitol Reef National Park, Bryce Canyon National Park, Springdale, Zion, back to Springdale, to Williams, Arizona, Grand Canyon National Park, to Williams, Arizona, Chicago. So it's a lot, but it's much simpler than it sounds. Basically, we have the full day tour of Arches National Park and Canyonlands National Park. We have a tour for you over in Zion National Park, and you can also explore Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef while you're here. And then we have a hotel night stay at a popular location like the Mazuk Lodge or Alta Bar in Historic Village on the south rim of the Grand Canyon, with a sightseeing tour that takes you through the major areas within the Grand Canyon. So you can stop, take photos, and see some incredible sights. A trip like this is a 10-day tour, only starting from $2,099. Again, hotels, tours, activity, rail, all included already. Now, this is our Grand Rail experience. This is one of my personal favorites because this has always been on the top of our charts for many, many years now, and rightfully so. This does a full loop around the US. So Chicago to Seattle, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Washington, D.C., back to Chicago. Now, the Empire Builder is a train that's going to be taken. This one is the one that goes through the mountain terrains of Montana, goes through the Cascades, gives you more of that Canadian feel, that wildlife feel as you're traveling through. You'll be visiting Los Angeles, and when you visit Los Angeles, you're going to be taking the Coast Starlight. Now, these Coast Starlight is a fantastic train system. Some of our travelers actually call this the Pacific Coast Hugger because this train hugs the Pacific Coast as you either head from Seattle to Los Angeles or Los Angeles to Seattle. Now, we also include New Orleans. New Orleans, we have a 2-night stay with a sightseeing tour. And the sightseeing tours, we have many options. You can do it's like this boat cruise you see here, which is an evening jazz cruise or a dinner cruise. We also have a swamp and bayou tour, a Hurricane Katrina tour, and many other options. Now, if you do look at many properties within New Orleans, I actually recommend Hotel Monteleone. It's one of our 4-star properties, fantastic location. It's right within the French Quarters, which is where you want to be in all the action of New Orleans. Now you'll take the Capital Limited. These names, I know they're a little different, but this is just the different trains available when you ride on Amtrak, as you do not just ride one train and see it all. Every Amtrak train offers a different experience. This one being going through the changing of the colors, seeing the fall foliage as you're traveling through in certain seasons. And then, of course, Washington, D.C., where we have a 2-night stay, as well as an included Monuments by Moonlight tour. Now, that tour is fantastic. We have travelers who live in Washington who say that you need to do this tour because it makes the experience of seeing the monuments in a whole nother way. Now, this is a 14-day tour, and it's only starting from $2,499. And I want to verify because I know we have some of our Canadian travelers on with us. So again, thank you for joining us. This is actually prices in United States dollar, but we could also price this out in Canadian dollar if you prefer. Just give us a call or check our website. And this price is per passenger price based on double occupancy. Now, we also have our Glacier National Park and Seattle from Chicago. Very simple vacation. They do not have to be 10 or 14 or 16-day vacations. They could be much shorter. And even short as 1 or 2 nights hotel with us with train. Now, with this trip, you actually begin in Chicago, where you'll depart from to head over to Glacier National Park. Now, this is the station. What's great is when you turn around, you actually see the lodge itself, as the train is right in front of Glacier Park Lodge. Now, we include the boat cruise again, but we also have that Red Jammer bus sightseeing tour. This is the Big Sky Circle tour. As you can see, it's incredible. You'll go on that red Jeep with an open roof that will take you through an incredible journey, going by Lake McDonald, Logan Pass, and a few other incredible destinations Again, it's a fantastic tour to include when you're at Glacier National Park. Now we have the 2 night setup for you in Seattle, many different hotels to pick and choose from. My featured upgrade I would recommend is the Seattle Embassy Suites. Fantastic view of the city, and we also have other properties with great views, but again, this is just one of my personal favorites. Now, this is a 7-day tour, and it's only starting from $1,949. Now, maybe you want more of that go to wine country. Well, this is your San Francisco and Napa Valley getaway. Very simple. It's just as it sounds, 3 nights in San Francisco with 2 nights in Napa. Now, San Francisco, we include the hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, as well as the dinner at a local popular restaurant, 3 hotel night stay. And then in Napa Valley, we have a fantastic wine tour for you that's on a Pullman train. So it's not on an Amtrak train, it's on a Pullman train going through the vineyards. You'll have a gourmet lunch included, wine tasting, cheeses, all the fun things, and then staying 2 hotel nights in Napa Valley. And then again, don't forget the Coast Starlight. This is included on your journey, where this is an incredible scenic route. This is the lounge car class on the Coast Starlight. You saw it on the California Zephyr, but as you can see, obviously different views. And for a journey like this, 6 days only from $1,159. Now, what is it like on board the train? Because those vacation packages are awesome. You could even tell me, Baltazar, I'm looking at just a simple route from Seattle to Los Angeles, and we can put that together. But on board the train, there's many different classes to pick and choose from, with some having perks and other ones are just kind of just nice classes to be on. Now, first off, there's separate priority boarding. So coach class has its own line, roomettes and bedrooms all have their own individual lines to be able to travel on. Now, coach class is fantastic. It's great for any kind of day use. You can sleep overnight on it as well. It includes just chairs, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, space in the aisleway, space overhead for luggage, and at the end of the car. Not only that, but there's also power sockets right at every chair, so you don't have to worry about trying to find an outlet to charge your electronics. There is Wi-Fi on board the train. At least almost 90% of our trains all have Wi-Fi. The ones that typically do not have Wi-Fi are more of those shorter trains on the East Coast. It may be only 1 or 2 of the trains. And what's great is that these chairs actually recline back 45 degrees, so you can sleep in them, recline them back, get comfortable. I have a colleague who's 6'6", and he mentioned to me that he was able to recline all the way back, and he did not even kick the other traveler. It was perfectly fine for him. Now, there are some cons when it comes to coach class for any overnight journeys. You won't have access to a shower, and you actually only have access to snack car meals like cold sandwiches, cold foods, alcoholic drinks, yes, and non-alcoholic drinks, but you wouldn't have any real meals included or available to purchase unless you upgraded to your sleeper class. Now, this is the roomette that we're going to talk about. The roomette is fantastic. It's up to 2 adults, so 1 traveler can be in here as well, but it can fit 2 adults. It has a restroom as well as a shower that's going to be in the car, not in the room. It's going to be in the same car where your room is located. Now, the room length, if you want to know dimensions, ranges from 6'7" to by 3'6". So again, it's comfortable where you have your 2 chairs facing each other, hold-on table in between. You'll have a dedicated car attendant that helps out with any kind of toiletries, while the water, coffee. They're also the ones who take the orders for the meals that you would like, as the dining car meals are included with the fare of this class. Now, there is a privacy door that locks from the inside. It does not lock from the outside, so it's just only locks from the inside. And there's actually curtains that can cover the windows if you'd like. And you also have your own private window to be able to see all your own scenery. Now, that is the roomette class. Again, great for 1 or 2 travelers facing each other, and then turning into a bunk bed style for 2. Now, if you're looking for maybe a bigger room, then I would take a look at our bedroom class. Our bedroom class, it fits up to 2 travelers or 1. It has space for your luggage. It's a room that's about 7 by 5 by 6'7", so very spacious. But the best part is the shower and restroom is in the room for yourself. So you do not need to go down the hall. You don't have to worry about using another restroom or shower. You have your own private space. And even better, you can still roam around the train as much as you like, as you are not limited just to this room. Now, bedroom class, again, it's fantastic, and all your meals are included for any kind of sleeper car. Now, this is our accessible bedroom. Our accessible bedroom is for anyone who maybe you're wheelchair restricted or you have maybe mobility issues, then you can take this class. It has a handicap accessible shower in the room, and it has a bunk bed style for two. Now, the bunk bed is mainly for anyone else who's traveling with you, but if it's yourself that may be wheelchair restricted, the bottom bunk is obviously going to be for yourself. And the meals are included in this class. It's always going to be on the first level of the Amtrak train. And the best part is that if you have any kind of oxygen that you need to have on board, it has an oxygen refueling station inside the room for yourself. So all you need is just say 2 oxygen tanks, and then you can refill one while you use the other. So you don't have to worry about trying to carry on 10 or 15 oxygen tanks with you. And dining options, again, they're delivered to your private sleeper. So this is more of the hotel room service style. And there's many options. There's cultural foods, there's enchiladas, there's pasta, there's yogurt parfaits, fruit parfaits, salads, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all included while you're traveling on board the train. So if you're on the train for 48 hours, you got all your meals covered. If you're on the train for 12 hours, then you're probably gonna have 1 or 2 meals covered. Just depending on the time you're traveling, that's how many meals you have included with any roomette or bedroom class. Now, I'm going to get towards the questions, so if you have any questions, now is the time to put them in the question box, and I'll be very excited to go into detail with them. Not only that, but if there's any destinations that you're thinking about taking and you're wondering how it would look like, put it in the question box. And right now, when we go into it, maybe I can kind of elaborate on it a little bit more with as much as I can over this call. Now, we do have upcoming webinars that you can plug into. April 27th is our round trip rail vacations on board Amtrak. On May 4th, we are going to talk about cross-country rail journeys with Amtrak Vacations. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We would need hours to go over everything that we offer on a single call. Now, for those of you who probably have not had any kind of questions inputted in the question box yet, feel free to put this in. What destinations are you considering for your next vacation? Is it something that's in the US, national parks, which one? Or is it Canada? Is it Alaska, Europe, Norway, anywhere? Feel free to put that in the question box. Now, I'm pulling this up now, the questions, as we're here and ready to go. And if anyone needs to go, totally understand. Just be aware that feel free to give us a call if you'd like to get your own personal quote, custom vacation ready. We could even send you an itinerary with the full details of the trip. Our operation hours are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we are also open on Saturday, 9:30 to 5:30 p.m. Our website, amtrakvacations.com, which is a wealth of information. And better yet, if you have a travel advisor you're working with, I would reach out to your travel advisor and let them know you're looking at a quote with Amtrak Vacations, and we can work with your travel advisor so you don't have to really do anything. You can just enjoy that. We'll take care of your trip. So I'm taking a look here. Okay, so Dan, thank you for your question. What are the room accommodations like for a one-day overnight trip? So and I believe this is a question that was asked a little bit earlier, so great question. But yes, it's exactly like we mentioned, coach, roomette, bedroom class. Whether it's an overnight or 2 nights or 3 nights, it's going to be the same classes available. And what's great is it's not a flat rate or anything. If you're only using the roomette for 5 hours, well then it's not going to cost as if you're paying for a whole entire 24 hours of a roomette. So it just depends on the length of your journey and the dates and everything like that. Are these prices based on double occupancy? Thank you, Caroline. Yes, they are. They are based in double occupancy per passenger costs based on double occupancy. Uh, Karen, thank you for your question here. How far is Yellowstone from train? Great question. So there actually is no train that goes to Yellowstone. We actually converted one of our tours to be almost like a transfer to take you to Yellowstone. So it's about a few hour journey, but this tour stops along the way. There's a lunch included, and it leaves out of Salt Lake City. So we'll take you to Salt Lake City. We can have a hotel night ready for you, and the next day is when you take your journey to Yellowstone, and then we'll have some lodges for you ready in Yellowstone. We have properties inside Yellowstone National Park, and we also have properties right outside the gate. Okay, so Chris, great question here. So what would the San Fran Napa trip look like starting in Sacramento? That's probably a very easy route. From Sacramento, we'll just take you to San Francisco, and I think that route is not a long one. I would say it's within the hour that you would actually be able to arrive into San Francisco and then start Napa. And if you'd like, if you're not really interested in going to San Francisco, we can take you over to Napa, and you can begin your trip there if that was your preference. David, I see you're saying in a single, just traveling in a single, any extra fees? So great question. In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. But not by us. It's just by the hotels and the rail and different things like that. So typically, that's a single supplement charge. So I had a question on the previous session about a roomette. If one person's traveling, are they paying the full price of the roomette? And no, not exactly. It's not 100%. It might be more or less 50% of the second traveler. So it's not a perfect one-to-one ratio, but it still is a little bit of a premium based on a per passenger price. So that's just something to keep in mind. And our team members can price out exactly what that price would look like. And the difference is, we actually had a traveler just yesterday ask about prices between if it was just them traveling or someone else traveling with them. And then we were able to break down both prices that they can pick and choose from. Sonia, thank you for the question here. Do you have a room for three? So fantastic question. So technically we don't have a room for three, and technically we do. So they're called bedroom suites. Bedroom suites is just when you purchase two bedrooms, and we'll remove the middle wall, and it technically fits four adults, but realistically, it's just two bedrooms that you're purchasing um, to fit four adults. And there we do have a family bedroom, very limited space. A family bedroom has two adult beds and two small children beds. And by small children, I'm referring 12 years of age younger would be able to be the children in that room. But typically, more of our travelers just prefer to book two roomettes, where if they buy two roomettes, they can fit four travelers. Gerald, great question. Is there a double bed upstairs? So a double bed, a double bed size? No, there's not. It's always going to be a bunk bed style, having two beds in each one of the rooms. In some of our other trains, though, so just don't feel like this is a one train fits all. There are some trains like in Canada, our Canadian trains on the Via Rail, they do have a double size bed for two that faces out towards the window in one of our luxury classes, which is fantastic. It's called the Prestige class, and it goes cross country through Canada. Okay, so I see a great question here. So which end of the sleeper cars are closer to the engine and the bedrooms or sleepers? So it just depends on the way that they arrange the train. I actually wouldn't know that information, but they rearrange the trains in different ways each day when they put it together. Okay, so Indra, thank you for your question here. National Park, how much for a single person coach roomette? So it just depends on location, time, destination. Um, it all depends on that because we have to check the availability. We work with live dynamic pricing. So when you call in, you will price out the trip exactly on the date you recommend, and we'll see how much availability. More availability, the cheaper it is. Less availability, the higher price may be. So when you speak to our team members, they can check that for you. And Mike, great question here. What are my options to see Grand Canyon? So Grand Canyon, we do have a train that goes to the Grand Canyon. Many travelers actually are unaware of that. And it's not the Amtrak train. It's called the Grand Canyon Railway. It's a train that's actually owned and operated by the Grand Canyon. And so what we'll do is we'll take you to Williams, Arizona, or Flagstaff, Arizona, to connect you to Williams. And then from there, we'll have a hotel night set up for you at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel, where then the next day you'll take the Grand Canyon Railway train up to the south rim of the canyon in Historic Village to then experience the Grand Canyon. And so just wherever you're plugging in from, we'll take you to the Grand Canyon. You can stay 1, 2 nights at the Grand Canyon, 3 nights, or even more. And we have the Mastic Lodge, Alta Bar, beautiful property, and many other options. And we can bring you back to Williams, Arizona, where we can continue your trip or end the trip there. And Micah, I see you're saying, or Mika, you're saying about what about trips to Alaska? Great question. So our trips to Alaska, we have a huge inventory, and this is again relating to our sister brand, Rail Bookers. And Alaska, we have trains that the Denali Railway System going over to Seaward, Anchorage, Talkeetna, so to do some dog sledding in the winter. We go to Denali National Park, which is a beautiful national park right in the wilderness. You'll be able to stay in cabins. And we even go as far back as Fairbanks, where you can see the northern lights. And it's usually more popular during the winter time. So again, many options to pick and choose from when it comes to the rail systems. And if you're coming off of a cruise, we can pick you up from the cruise to start your journey. And Donna, thank you for your question here. Are you able to roam in the observation car? Yes. Any class has access to the observation car, and it's actually great right now because only 50% of the space is being sold. So there's more space for everyone to enjoy going to the observation car. Earl, I see you're saying visit the Northeast to view fall colors. Yes, we also have our fall foliage trip that is seasonal, of course, that comes out of Boston going over to Portland, Maine. So that is also something that we can set up for you. We'll take you to Washington, Boston, Portland, Maine, or just see Boston to see the changing of the colors. And Tabitha, you're saying Canadian trips. So yes, we have a huge Canadian inventory. Now currently, again, that's paused because of the border restrictions. I see that opening towards the very end of this year or looking into the beginning of 2022. And we are booking reservations for Canada as well for that 2022 time. So if that's something you're looking into, we can book that as well. And you can still take advantage of our promotions that we have available. Now, for our Canadian trips, simple trips like Canadian Discovery eastbound trip, the Canadian Rockies. It goes from Vancouver, a trip over to Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island. You'll continue overnight through the Canadian Rockies, which is incredible. Just like the Denver Rockies, you're just going through the Canadian Rockies. We'll take you to Jasper National Park, Banff National Park, and then we'll end you over in Calgary. Or we can go cross country all the way to Toronto. You're going to be 3, 4 nights on board the train in Canada. You'll arrive into Toronto, and we can go over to Quebec City, Montreal, Halifax, which is all the way on the East Coast. So a lot of options to choose from. And great question here. So Anna, you're saying senior discounts? Yes, we do have senior discounts available. So if you're the age of 62 years of age or older, then you actually receive a 10% discount on the rail portion of our trips. So on the rail, we can get that 10% discount set up for you. Is the Eve, thank you for your question, is the quote for a trip for round trip fare for trips. So yes, if it says round trip, then we are already quoting the coach price of the rail throughout the whole journey. And great questions, by the way. I'm just going through a few more. I'm seeing a few duplicates, so I'm just trying to get to the next one. Uh, Robin, thank you for your question. Can you discuss Ohio to California? That's fairly simple. You can either, I believe the train is the Southwest Chief, and you just go Ohio and you connect directly over to California, which would be Los Angeles. And then from there, you would bridge off to another destination. I believe that's correct on the top of my head. If not, possibly going to Chicago, then Los Angeles. But I believe it's just a direct shot to Los Angeles. Um, so how do passengers in coach get food? All you would do is just get the food in the from the snack car. So there's cold food, sandwiches, snacks, chips. That's going to be the food on the coach class. So it makes sense if it's just a day trip or even just one overnight. But that's why I would highly recommend looking into a roommate or a bedroom if you're planning to stay 2 or 3 nights on board. Can these trips be arranged at any date range? So great question. So yes, they can be arranged in any date range, just depending on what kind of location. So for example, Glacier National Park, it can be 100% arranged, but it is seasonal. So we can book the lodges, but then some of the tours may not be available during the winter times. Um, so, in some of our other destinations, they're year round, like the major cities. So yes, there's year round trips, but some may not have the tours available based on the season. Okay, and thank you for the question here. Most of the tours seem to start in Chicago. We live near Seattle. Can we start there? Yes, you can. Absolutely. The only reason why they start from Chicago on most of our packages is because all the Amtrak trains connect to Chicago. So it's so very simple just to say, oh, we're starting in Chicago. Okay, we can take one train and you'll get to wherever you want to go. In Seattle, it's a great location as well. We can take you down south or right across to Glacier National Park, go to Chicago. That's only one train. We can go down to San Francisco or go down to Los Angeles. That's one train. And then if you want to bridge off to any other destination like to Yellowstone or Grand Canyon, then you just take a second train based on the areas you're bridging off to. Great question here, Melissa. So yes, it says you mentioned the first type of sleeper class was not lockable. So they are lockable when you're on inside of the cabin. And that's the same for bedroom class as well. They're both equipped with doors that lock from the inside, not from the outside. And are we eating in the dining car or in our room? So you'll actually be enjoying your meals from your room, like room service. There's currently no dining car that you can sit in and enjoy meals because that would require everyone to remove their mask while traveling. Mike, great question here. Extra charge for Grand Canyon Railway train. It's included in our package. It runs with the fare, so technically, yes, there's a charge to ride on the train, and there's different classes to choose from. But it's included with all of our quotes that involve the Grand Canyon with the Grand Canyon Railway. Uh, Marilyn, thank you for your question here. Can you combine a Glacier National Park trip with Denali? So we wouldn't be able to combine a trip that will go to the Denali railway system because that's over in Alaska. So if you went from Glacier National Park, which is in the US, there's no connection. Even going through Canada, there's no connection that will connect all the way to Alaska onto their railway system. So can we combine the trip? Yeah, we've booked trips where someone was going to Glacier National Park, they went to Seattle, then they arranged airfare to go into Anchorage, and then from there we continued the tour in Alaska. That was all on a single reservation. And a veteran discount, yes, we do have a veteran discount, and that is at 10% as well for the veteran discount. And children, just so everyone's a 10% discount on the rail portion of the trip, and children actually receive a 50% discount on the rail portion of the journey as well. And Bruce, I'm glad you asked this question. So are there Amtrak rail passes for travelers who want to travel to many places in US and Canada on a 3 to 4 week trip? Fantastic question. So I have heard of things of rail passes with Amtrak. We do not sell the rail passes because it's basically a rail pass. You have a pass to board onto any Amtrak train and you can get off anywhere and then just jump back onto a train. The problem with that, a few things. You do not have a confirmed seat reservation, so you just can board onto the train as long as there's space. If there's no space, you can't board the train. And the trains only operate one time a day, so if you get off, you have to wait another night to catch the next train. And if you wait another night, but you didn't plan any hotel reservations, I don't know how many travelers on here have tried that, but I've traveled a lot. And if I try to make a hotel reservation in the same evening that I arrive, a lot of cases they're sold out. And it's heartbreaking to try to find a hotel that will take a reservation that's already sold out. And it ends up leading to like some, probably not all best properties that are available. So what I would recommend is letting us know what cities you would like to see in that 3 to 4 week journey, and we'll book stops at every location. So if you have 20 cities you want to see, we can actually make a reservation with you stopping at 20 cities for a whole month journey and connecting all the rails so you can actually do the hop on, hop off feel of a train, but you actually have ticket reservations. We've done that for someone who went to Europe and they wanted to take a whole 2 month vacation going through all of Europe. And we pieced it all together and they made all the different stops versus just getting a rail pass. It's much safer, especially for a vacation trip where you know exactly that you have a reservation ready. And I see, can you choose to just stay in the train and get off? Also, that's relating to the same question. So yes, it's just planning out where you're going to get off the train with your ticket. And Mike, I see here, and I believe this will be the final question. How does Amtrak handle instances of dangerous weather, such as hazard-related cancellations and the hazard that may occur during the train ride? Another great question. So just when you speak to our team members, they can go into detail with that. We do have our trip protection that we offer that protects your trips for if instances like that happen. And knock on wood, of course, but there's different things, different protocols that it's hard to get into specifics with. Um, Usually we have a system where you'll be notified if for some reason there's an anticipation that something's not going right with the rails, which is rare, but if that happens, you would be notified before you actually take your trip, and we can game plan on maybe adjusting your vacation accordingly. Or if you're traveling on your trip and there's an issue that occurs while traveling, then possibly either redirecting you onto a different route or a different track that's safer, or pausing, getting a hotel, and then reworking it from there on your vacation. So again, it just depends on the certain situation. So just when you speak to our team members, they can really walk through on that. And perfect. I know that there was many other questions that I just it gets lost when when there's over 300-400 travelers online and every person asks one question. A lot of questions got lost. But if there's anything that we can assist you, just give us a call on our number there on the screen, 800-268-7252, and we'll be more than happy to help you with any kind of questions you have. But even just call to get a live quote. Any trip that you're looking at getting a quote on, just give us a call. We can create it. We can show you exactly what it looks like, how much availability is left, and we can email you a copy so you can take a look at that on hand and plan your vacation trip. So everyone stay safe. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for joining us. This is Baltazar with Amtrak Vacations.